It's Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am your host, The Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at The Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. You can call in and text in at 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk in text line. Again, that is 833-212-1017. Let me open that up. I usually like seeing the last thing sent from Sherwin. Oh, what is this? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, let me stop. I'm looking at the text messages and I see Sherwin the one. He the man. When I grow up, I want to be just like Sherwin. I tell you, I want to be just like Sherwin. He gets all the good messages. But you can also watch and stream us live by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube, streaming us live at 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. We're only 50 subscribers away. 50 subscribers away from 4,000 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe or tell somebody you love to subscribe to 101.7 The Truth. Truth Nation, exciting day today. Oh, I shouldn't even say exciting day. Weird day today. A lot of stuff happened today. And I want to do a little storytelling off the top. Now, before I get into it, I love this hoodie, this Milwaukee Bears hoodie. I know I'm like a Milwaukee Brewers walking billboard, but they be fire with all these giveaways. Ricky has on a hat right now that is a Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bears hat. That is crazy, Ricky. That hat and my fit go together. That is crazy. Look, you see my fit?
Trying to take my hat?
No, I don't know where your head done been. You a wild boy.
Somewhere.
You a wild boy. Ricky be a DJ, so you know them DJs is nasty. But yeah. But also shout out to Rhea Riley on the ones and the twos.
What's up?
Nothing. And shout out to you, Truth Nation. So without further ado, you know what, Rhea? I think I'm going to hit them with off the top here as I tell my story, but I lead into answering the question why. Truth Nation, I'm going to ask y'all why.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Yes, Truth Nation, the theme for today is why. Why? Now, first I got to just tell y'all a story is why do people make the decisions that they do? And I'm going to start with a personal story, how this morning I almost got into a fight. Yes, I almost got into an altercation on my way to work today. Now, let me explain. I was driving into work. We have a parking structure here. You know, I was doing what I do. And I was driving into work. Inside the parking structure coming in, something happened. Now, as many of y'all know, when you go into a parking structure, you're driving around, and you're not just driving for fun. You're not just joyriding, but typically you riding around looking for a parking spot. Now, I was riding around looking for a parking spot, and there was a parking spot in the corner, but I could not see it because it was one of them ducked off ones in the corner that you can't see when you're driving up because there was a door wall there. So as I'm driving, I roll halfway past the parking spot, and I said, "Oops, stop." And I start reversing, and as I'm starting reversing, typically when somebody sees you reversing in the parking structure, they may say, "What are they doing?" But then they stop. Well, the dude behind me today decided he wasn't going to stop, so as I was reversing, he kept coming, and he started honking. And I'm like, what? Like, don't you see that I'm reversing? Like, I understand I probably shouldn't reverse here, but you just pulled up, and I'm almost here reversing. I just need you to back up a little bit more. This man kept honking. He put his hand out the window. "What are you doing?" I said, "Bro, what?" I said, "Hey, like, back up." And he kept yelling, and he honked. And then so as a reverse, he reversed a little bit, but he didn't reverse enough. He literally went back like a foot. And I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm not. And so then he was waving his hand. I didn't really like it. He was a white dude. I really didn't like the way he was waving his hand. I took offense to it. So then he backed up more, and I finally parked, and I was so mad. I didn't fully park the car. I like turned in so he can get by, and then I hopped up out the car, and he kept going. And I was so mad. I was furious. And so then I was walking into the building. I felt I was heated. I was on 10, and I had decisions to make. So then I walk into the building, and in order to get into our building, most times you need to have a key fob. Some folks can mysteriously find their ways in, but that's neither here nor there. But you need a key fob to get in. So I do the key fob, I open up the door. Rhea, you know what I'm talking about, the key fob to open up the door upstairs?
Like the new one or the one we've always had?
I think it's the one we always had, the key fob to get into like our space, not our office. Yeah, the first one, the first door.
Yep.
But and so I key fobbed. I walked in the door and I said, man, I'm mad. I should go try to wait for this dude. So I turned around and walked out. And then I was like, man, what are you doing? You got to go to work. And then I walked to go back inside, and then I thought I heard a door open. I said, well, let me go see this dude because I want to holler at him. And then I thought to myself, I said, what are you doing? You have to be more responsible than that, and you have to make better decisions. Now, I am glad nothing happened because I'm going to tell you this right now, Truth Nation. It ain't worth it at all. That situation wasn't worth it at all, and it was a reminder to me that I need to be better. I need to understand that my pride is a personal thing, and I have to learn to breathe, as Carrie said in her Truth Take, and keep moving and be unbothered. Be unbothered. It's about making decisions and asking yourself, why am I doing this? So I start by telling that because I want to know why. Why do certain things happen? Why do people vote for certain things? Why do people put in certain policies? And why do people not stand out or stand up and speak out against certain things? See, for me, again, I'm talking about being unbothered. And y'all can watch 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch and stream us live on YouTube. 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And LaRon said, if you miss a spot in a structure and somebody's behind, you cannot back up. You just listen. They weren't behind me at first, but they came up fast. That man, he was flying. He was flying. All I need him to do is back up a little bit. And so, I'm not saying I was in the right. I ain't saying that. I just said by the time that my car was, I just need him to back up about 5 feet, and he didn't want to move. But I didn't like his attitude, because I don't like when certain people talk a certain way, because to me it's disrespectful. But again, I have to be more unbothered, and when I talk about being unbothered, I need to practice that in more things, because something which bothered me today has me again asking why. And I'm asking why for two separate things today, Truth Nation. And the first thing is, why would banks purposely deceive their customers? Why would they purposely deceive military men and women, servicemen and women who have protected our country, gave limbs for our country, sacrificed for our country? Why would a bank or a credit union purposely try to deceive its customers? And then why would the government be okay with servicemen and women, their children, their families, their spouses? Why would the government be okay with these individuals and Americans being taken advantage of? Now, here's a story from News 4 Jacksonville on the largest credit union in the country robbing its members blind. And now again, I want to ask the question why they would do something like this. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you can watch and you can also listen to what happened to many servicemen and servicewomen who protect our country, the great military that we love. We just had a military parade on June 14th where we honored the great 250 years of our military. I want to know why Navy Federal Credit Union would do this to their customers. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, or if you're driving or you're on the app, 1017 The Truth app, go ahead and open up them ears.
Right now at 5:30, $95 million in penalties. That is how much Navy Federal Credit Union has been slapped with for charging illegal overdraft fees. Now, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says this is the largest amount ever imposed on a credit union for illegal activity.
As News 4 Jax reporter Ann Maxwell explains, Navy Federal says it doesn't believe it did anything wrong.
The good news for Navy Federal members is that more than $80 million of that money will be refunded to them. The rest of it will go into a victims relief fund. The credit union has also been ordered to stop charging those illegal overdraft fees. It's the nation's largest credit union, serving more than 14 million service members, veterans, civilian military employees, and their families. But the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says Navy Federal Credit Union deceived its members with surprise overdraft fees on ATM withdrawals and debit card purchases from 2017 to 2021. The CFPB said this happened in two ways, charging $20 on purchases made with sufficient funds, only to later charge what the CFPB calls illegal fees when the transactions were later processed. The CFPB says the credit union also showed incoming payments from services like Zelle and Cash App as available to spend without disclosing that payments received after specific hours wouldn't actually post until the next business day. Public relations consultant Jason Mudd, who works with financial institutions, says this is a blow to Navy Federal's image.
The optics of this are not good because, their job is to provide trusted financial services for servicemen and women and their families. And this includes veterans, of course. And so Navy Federal's had a great reputation for many years. And now they've got to rebuild that reputation and rebuild trust.
CFPB Director Rohit Chopra said in a statement, quote, Navy Federal illegally harvested tens of millions of dollars in junk fees, including from active duty service members and veterans. The CFPB's work to rid the market of illegal junk fees has saved American families billions of dollars. Now, Navy Federal must refund improperly charged overdraft fees to customers that were affected. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says this is the largest penalty in their history. What kind of message do you think that sends?
You absolutely don't want to be the first one to have the largest penalty ever applied to your organization in history. That's not a good look. That's not what they were going for here. So it should send a message to the marketplace that this is a big deal.
Navy Federal released a statement saying in part, quote, Navy Federal fully cooperated with the CFPB's investigation, and we will continue to comply with all applicable laws and regulations, just as we always have and as we believe we did here. Nevertheless, the settlement enables us to focus on serving our members and their families. As a member-owned, not-for-profit credit union, we are focused on putting our members first. Ann Maxwell, Channel 4, the local station.
Now, see, what frustrates
they
me
don't
about
believe
this
how
is that
toxic
this is a great thing, right? Servicemen and women and customers were being taken advantage of by Navy Federal Credit Union. And many other banks across this country, we hear about this being taken advantage of with these overdraft fees. And the government stepped in and said, not so fast to these hungry corporations, and told them, y'all cannot charge these absorbent fees or these ridiculous fees to consumers and customers. And they were going to have to pay back $80 million plus $15 million just in case for other people that were impacted. See, that is something that I appreciated. See, the prior administration, they believed in human decency and they cared about people. But currently, this administration threw that completely out the window, and their constant actions prove that they don't really care about human decency or about people. And so what makes this story that you just heard about how Navy Federal Credit Union was cheating its customers, was charging its customers overdraft fees even though they had money in their accounts. And now what we're seeing, and I'm asking a question why, I'm trying to understand why, is why would the current administration now, just last week, have their Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, whose job is to literally protect consumers from being scammed or taken advantage of, they dismissed this $95 million settlement agreement that Navy Federal Credit Union had regarding the illegal overdraft fees. Now, for me, it doesn't make sense why an administration will come in when we're supposed to be making America great and making America better. Why would an administration come in and continue to roll back or terminate consent orders that were done by the previous administration that put more money in people's pockets for being screwed over? The original settlement was reached back in 2024, and again, it alleged Navy Federal Credit Union engaged in illegal overdraft practices and charging fees when accounts had sufficient funds. And so for me, what I don't understand is why would the government step in and no longer require Navy Federal Credit Union to have to refund millions of dollars to his customers, which many of his customers are servicemen and women and their families. We can't sit here and say that we care about the military and we care about people, but when corporations try to take advantage of people and they get caught, we can't let them off the hook. Because the people who lost money in these fees were going to get that money back, but now they're not going to get that money back. How is that putting us citizens first? The only ones who are praising this decision are big banks here in America. Those are the only ones. And probably politicians who take money from these bank lobbyists. And we have to understand why. I'm asking the question, why would government do something like this? Why would the government tell a bank that they had to pay money for scheming and scamming on people, but then after that administration leaves, somebody else comes in and says, I don't have to worry about that. You don't have to pay these people back. Just take their money. There's too much lobbying going on with these corporations who give millions of dollars to politicians, millions of dollars to politicians to put them in office in order to have control, to put the best interest of these banks and these credit unions ahead of the consumers. And I just don't understand why, Truth Nation. I don't get it. 833-212-1017. Can somebody explain to me why? Why would our government have the Office of Consumer Protection, who is there to protect the consumer from fraud or being taken advantage of, when they found fraud, when they found some behaviors that were questionable by a bank, and they came up with an agreement for the bank to actually pay the customers back for money that was taken away illegally from these individuals? Why would the government step in and say, never mind, you don't have to pay that money back to consumers? That I truly don't understand. 833-212-1017. I'm asking the question of why something like this would happen. I'm baffled and I'm confused. When we come back on the other side, I'm going to continue asking the question why, and this one has to do with right here locally in the state of Wisconsin. Why do politicians, why do people have such disdain and want to eliminate diversity, equity, and education from across this country? There was a huge story that broke yesterday about things that could impact your family, my potential family, and many other people across this country when it comes to attacks on DEI. And again, here in the state of Wisconsin, which they call it Mississippi, we see those acts again by some politicians from Wisconsin. On the other side, I'm going to tell you how black people, brown people, are under attack in Wisconsin once again, and now it's attacking the future of academics in this state. You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I see y'all got a lot to say about the parking situation. I'll definitely touch on that as well, but keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace right here on 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievements BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin and Versity for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th from 2 to 6:30 p.m. at JA's headquarters near Highway 100 and Good Hope Road. While you're there, tour Jim's JA BizTown, where students take on real-world roles like CEO, banker, and mayor, learning how communities thrive through teamwork and leadership. Sign up today at wisconsin.ja.org.
Truth Nation, you already know I got to put you on the latest hookup at Nick Avani's, and this one is big. All month long during July, Nick Avani's is running their buy one, get one for a penny sale. That's right. Grab one item and get another one for just 1 cent. We're talking top-tier fashion like suits, shirts, ties, shoes, and more that will have you stepping out looking sharp and turning heads. Some exclusions may apply, but the deal is real and only happening for the month of July. So don't wait and pull up to Nick Avani's on the second floor of Mayfair Mall and level up your wardrobe while this deal lasts.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. American Family Insurance can help protect your dream home for whatever comes next. You can live in your own oasis or your own clubhouse. Whatever you choose, get the right coverage. Save up to 23% by bundling home and auto. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
I used to think about immature things.
Truth Nation, it's a big weekend coming up for the Truth, and kicking it off this weekend on this Friday night is our second annual Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer, coming back this summer from 5 to 7 at Mr. B's. Mr. B's is located at 8617 West Brown Deer Road in Milwaukee. Start your weekend off connecting with hosts, producers, and fellow fans of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Enjoy great food, drinks, fun, and a relaxing environment. We will also be giving away some big prizes, including Brewers tickets, a Chula Vista Resort experience, and more. Once again, that's the second annual Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Social Mixer coming back this summer, this Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Mr. B's, all part of a big weekend courtesy of the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power, and on the other side, I talked about some things that didn't sit right with me with why our government, who has the Consumer Protection Bureau that is literally put in place to protect consumers from being scammed, and why the government would pull back on fines that were placed on a bank that was scamming folks who were going to have to pay these folks back for taking money from them. Why would the government tell that bank you no longer have to pay? It does not make sense. But in addition to that as well, Truth Nation, I told the story about when I was driving into work today and how I rolled halfway past the parking spot and I started reversing. And as I reversed, a car came up before I could kind of reverse in a position to park. And he was honking. He was yelling out the window. White guy. He was very irritable. And I see y'all had a lot to say about that. So I do want to go to YouTube, because I promised folks on YouTube, go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube where you can watch and stream us live. I promised folks on YouTube I was going to be better. And Howard responded to my whole story about me backing up and the guy honking and me getting all mad and him being all mad and how we had to diffuse the situation and how I really wanted to try to find him. But then I said, you know what, you got to be better than that. Howard said, Kyle, I hear people don't have the driver's etiquette anymore. If you see someone backing up, I will stop and allow them to back out. That is a good point. Rhea, have you been in this parking structure now for years? Have you ever seen somebody reversing back?
Yeah.
Do you keep going and honk, or do you just stop or reverse?
I stop. I get annoyed, but I stop. I'm like, all right, well, back up then.
Yeah, exactly. You stop and get annoyed and say back up. You don't sit there and honk and put your hand out the window. What are you doing? Because you know what's going on, right?
Right.
Yeah, just like I've done the same thing before when I'm going and I'm like, so that's what I was just so confused, because most people, I would say, in this parking structure, we all work here for the most part. I mean, you have guests that are here, but for the most part, we're pretty cordial at 9 o'clock in the morning. LaRon also responded, if I'm heading out, I will back up, but if we both looking for a parking spot, you pass it because you weren't paying attention, I'm not backing up. That's my spot. And if that was the case, then yeah. But he looked confused because he zoomed off, and I feel like he went to the other side. But I understand that. I definitely get it. 833-212-1017. I appreciate y'all chiming in on the Truth That Talk and text line. Stacy said, yes, Kyle, never go looking for anything in that situation was not worth it. You may end up dead, hurt, or in court. It was over. Let it be. I agree, Stacy. That's why I had a moment to think about it. And I'm willing to get my butt whooped for my pride sometimes, but who knows what would have happened. And then lastly, Daniel said, you was all good, though, Brother Wallace. Once you pass it, you missed it. It's a structure. Unless ain't nobody behind you, that's what you was thinking. He probably popped right up. He did pop up fast. He was speeding. He was in a rush. He was definitely in a rush. But now I want to transition over to talking about why. And before I talked about why would the government not want to make people whole after they were taken advantage of by a bank, and now I want to ask the question, why would the UW system placate and fall into the lap and do exactly what some folks in this state want them to do when it comes to taking away things from a community? So, Truth Nation, again, I will ask the question of the day, why? Why? Why would Wisconsin decide that they wanted to dismantle and eliminate the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Education Achievement? Why would they want to get rid of that? UW-Madison is a flagship institution in the state of Wisconsin and is ranked as one of the top 50 institutions in this country. So they're not only the best school in the state of Wisconsin, they are the cream of the crop of elite universities across this country that educate many bright minds day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. They are a force not only positively locally, nationally, but also have a global impact that is felt. I mean, there was a Virgil Abloh who passed away, but he had his off-white clothing line. You know, you had rappers talking about Virgil. He went to UW-Madison. That is a global impact. And so when you have a powerhouse in the world of academia, you should definitely want to stand your ground like Harvard University did when it comes to somebody trying to cut something that you truly believe in. And when I come back, I'm going to tell y'all why I was so upset and so mad. I was mad because the response to the UW system eliminating diversity, equity, and education program at their university was met with quotes by politicians like Republican lawmaker Robin Vos, who says idiotic things like we need less indoctrination and more effort to provide students with usable skills and knowledge to help them get good paying jobs. They call it wasteful spending on DEI and express the desire for a colorblind society. See, that's where I always have a problem, is where then when these things happen, the rationale and reason behind it is rooted in hate. It's rooted in division, and to me, it's rooted in evil. And so when we come back on the other side, Truth Nation, I'm going to break down why I think UW-Madison did a terrible thing by cutting its DEI programs that they provide to students to uplift students of different backgrounds, all to satisfy somebody like Robin Vos, who in my eye, actually, Rhea, you probably should know who Robin Vos is very well, because Robin Vos, I think, represents the area that you're from. Why somebody like him, who has consistently shown that he does not care about black constituents, why we are allowing him to dictate how we are going to educate the future of this world. When they say things like colorblind society, they are the first ones to see color. I was just telling Ben and Carrie a story from Jammin' with Juice, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on 101.7 The Truth weekdays. You can hear them all the times. Get your morning started right with a drop of juice. I was telling them a story about how I was in elementary school. And this is why this colorblind thing is always interesting to me. And when we were in elementary school, I never forget there was a young man who was, getting picked on a little bit by some of my friends. I wasn't part of the getting picked on, but he was getting picked on. And one comment they said to this young man who was adopted, they said to him, "Well, I'm glad I'm not adopted like you," which is offensive to say I'm not, you're adopted. And the young man at the age of 9 or 10, his response was to two black kids who said, "Well, at least I'm not adopted." He said, "Well, at least I'm not black." That is learned behavior as a child. So when we talking about being colorblind, we have to understand that in order for us to be colorblind, we have to change the mindset of white folks. 833-212-1017. I'm going to ask the question of why do we have to deal with things like this? Why is it that every time we turn around right now, it seems like diversity, equity, and inclusion and education is being cut that could positively impact black students? And I'm going to tell y'all about what UW-Madison did and why UW-Madison is dead wrong for dropping to their knees and doing what the Republicans asked them to do here in the state of Wisconsin, because to that, it will not make Wisconsin better. It only makes it worse. 833-212-1017. We're definitely going to address this on the other side. If you have any thoughts about the conversation, you can always call in and text in. You can always watch and stream us live. But when we come back, Truth Nation, we have to address the Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos, and his thought that diversity means you're being indoctrinated, and that diversity means that you're wasting funds, and that diversity means that we need to be colorblind. I'm going to tell y'all why he's I don't know if I can say that on air. He's a you know what it is. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Yeah, he's a dum-dum. I want to say some other words, but I can't say it. He's a runner, too. He's a track star because he keeps running away from coming on the truth. But he'll gallivant his stupid behind right down the street to 620 WTMJ. But I'm going to tell y'all why UW-Madison made a huge mistake dismantling and eliminating the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Education of Achievement on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
At We Energies, we're committed to building a bright, sustainable energy future. We're investing in clean energy projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. As a leader in the decarbonization effort, our goal is to achieve net zero carbon emissions from our generation fleet by 2050. It's part of our plan to provide the affordable, reliable, and clean energy you depend on. Learn more at WeEnergies.com. We Energies, people you can trust, energy you can depend on. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
I want you to really stress the importance of having an ethnically diverse blood supply. But I guess, what do you say to people that, for whatever reason, are apprehensive about giving blood?
It's not by accident that we are building this fixed donation site right in the heart of this Halyard Park, Harambe neighborhood. And to your point, our black and brown donors probably represents the smallest demographic in our donor base. That's attributed to multiple reasons. For those of us that understand the history, there is a lot of underlying mistrust of the healthcare system. And quite frankly, there's already challenges with how busy people are, how accessible they are to even know where to go to donate blood. And let's face it, a lot of folks are scared of needles, right? But when they get through all of that, the importance, I think, is a heavier burden on our black and brown communities, because there are a lot of different blood diseases that require what I'll call more of a match in blood that only comes from people of similar ethnicities. Something that's specific to our black donors and patients is something that I think your listeners are very familiar with: sickle cell disease. The only therapy that get them through their day-to-day life is blood transfusions. And it's not just what I'll call average or normal blood type or blood transfusion. It's actually a specific blood with a specific type called RO blood. And this RO blood typically only comes from people of African descent and Hispanic descent. And so that's why it's so important that our donor base is diverse, so that it helps our ethnically diverse patient population.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today. It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth Business Spotlight this Thursday today at 3:57 p.m. between the Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. Benjamin will be speaking with Lynn Ketterhagen from the Lake Lawn Resort in Delavan. They will discuss the exciting offerings at the resort, including their 30 days of summer special, car show, and lake cruise dinners. Again, that is the Business Spotlight this Thursday with Lake Lawn at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Gotta throw it away. Oh, missed it, but I'll grab it. I always grab my paper. I'm pretty resourceful. I throw stuff away. I don't really leave stuff in here like everybody else. Oh, thanks, Zech. I always throw my stuff away. I'm not the problem. Y'all know I ain't the problem.
Yeah, sure.
You know I'm not the problem. What you mean, You know, I used to cuss people out all the damn time.
Well.
You so did. I ain't the problem. I throw stuff away. But anyways, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. You could also, again, watch and stream us live here on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. We're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio. And on the other side, I was asking the question, why? Why would UW-Madison and why would Republicans in this state of Wisconsin want to dismantle and eliminate the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Education Achievement at UW-Madison when it positively impacted so many students? It was an office that was created to better address the needs of students of color on campus, which for many years, if you know anything about UW-Madison, weren't really accepted and felt ostracized, felt like they lacked a sense of community and a support system. At many college campuses here in the state of Wisconsin, students of color will outwardly speak about their negative experience on campus due to the cultural incompetence of white students and professors on campuses. These offices played a crucial role in helping students of color find academic success, but also finding a place where they felt accepted and they felt good. Because before that, universities weren't doing enough. Now, I am one that advocates for the fact that as a student of color, when you go to a college campus, you should definitely get involved in different clubs, activities, intramural sports, do everything. Don't just go to the corner with the black kids. Don't just go to the corner with the Asian kids. Don't just go to the corner with the Hispanic kids. Don't just go to the corner with the white kids. It is important that you have a melting pot. And what has to be understood is that these divisions of diversity and equity and inclusion and whatever they want to call them, they weren't just for black people. It was a space for people to come together, whether it was LGBTQ or whether or not you called yourself an ally of black folks, you just had Hispanic friends. Everybody could come together. And again, what really got me going about this is not the fact that they're shutting down the office. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. But it's the reaction from Republican lawmakers here in Wisconsin where it baffles me how any person of color can vote for these people with good conscience. How can you support folks who say such idiotic things like Robin Voss, who basically calls diversity, equity, and inclusion an indoctrination, believes it's wasteful money, and it talks about wanting a colorblind society? I find it so interesting, and I think it's laughable that he talks about this. Because I can tell you one thing, like I said before, I know he ain't colorblind simply because of the fact that he refuses to come on the Black Talk radio station. I have receipts. He'll happily go down to 620 WTMJ, but he's afraid to come to some of the more conservative shows that we have here on 1017 The Truth. And I wonder, again, I ask the question, why? And so when I hear things like him talking about colorblind and wasteful spending, it offends me because I'm sick of white folks on the conservative side telling us what is good for us, to sit here and ignore the fact that there are racial incidents and insensitivities and comments and things which take place and black students are impacted across the UW system is freaking ignorant to believe that. See, the Republicans in this state are a problem, and they do not like the idea of supporting black people and black causes. They prefer to protect the feelings of white students versus protecting the academic and personal growth of all students. Because when you get rid of diversity, equity, inclusion office, you get rid of an effort, an emphasis to uplift all students and make sure students have all opportunities on a college campus. 833-212-1017. I definitely want to hear from you on why this is something that conservatives choose to do. See, the thing that we have to understand is that everybody always asks the question of, why do we have diversity, equity, inclusion? But they don't really ask the question, why do we really have it? Do you think people just woke up one day and just felt like we need to have this? No. Based off the history of this country and based off the present actions of this country, it shows that there is a need to put an emphasis on diversity and a need to help give other people an advantage only so they can catch up. Because if this country would have did what was right 125 years ago after slavery, we would not need these type of offices. But y'all decided not to do that. See, these white Republicans are trying to erase history and act like everything is fine and dandy, where just a couple months ago, kids from different backgrounds at Rufus King High School traveled to Waterford High School. They went to Waterford High School for a track meet, and while they were at Waterford High School for a track meet, they had to endure racist comments from students and also families. Waterford High School administration apologized for it, but it is 2025, and our kids are going to do just simply involve themselves in sports, have to go through racist comments. If you think for 1 minute or a moment that there isn't any racial comments that students on these campuses have to face, again, you are being ignorant and dumb. And what blows my mind about what happened at Waterford is the simple fact that they look down upon those kids from Rufus King High School because they went to MPS. It's the fact that they look down upon those parents who live in Milwaukee and raise their kids in the city of Milwaukee, not understanding that Rufus King is ranked higher academically in a better school than Waterford. Those kids at Rufus King are getting a better education, but my point is this, is that until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again. It will only continue to widen the division we are already seeing. We got to be real. Most white kids on these college campuses don't care that there's a diversity office. They don't. And most of the people that care are the ones that are actually going to these diversity offices because they identify with it or their friends are part of it. They're creating a problem that doesn't exist. They truly are. The biggest snowflakes out here are always been the white Republicans who are so gung-ho on protecting the feelings of white kids while they ignore the needs of other kids. If Milwaukee's youth has a problem with fighting, well, white youth have a problem with being destructive and offensive. So it is sad that our government is actively working to de-emphasize educating and uplifting students of color in different backgrounds on college campuses. That emphasis is going to be diminished, and the only kids that will suffer will be our kids. Just last year, Republican lawmakers were willing to hold up the UW system and hold them hostage and withhold $32 million in important funding and threaten not to fund a new engineering school at UW-Madison again, a premier institution not only in this state but in this country, in this world. They were willing to hold up the advancement of the state of Wisconsin because they disagreed with DEI. They wanted them to freeze DEI staffing and restructure the 43 existing DEI positions and wanted UW-Madison to end their DEI initiatives aimed at attracting more diverse faculty. More diverse faculty. I just don't understand how this is acceptable. Truth Nation, I want you to understand, I want to try to understand, what are white Republicans afraid of? Why are they afraid to face the fact that their grandmas and grandpapas were part of a system which purposely held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve. And for those that always say, oh, well, you know, these cutbacks on DEIs, that affects white people. No. White women benefit from DEI, but so do black people. And when you see them cutting these DEI offices, they're not attacking white women. They're attacking black women and black men. They're taking away jobs. They're taking away places for them to go. They ain't getting rid of them sororities. They're not getting rid of the German club, the Polish club, the Jewish Federation club. They're not getting rid of those clubs. They're only taking issues with the black clubs and black organizations on campus. So we have to stop acting like this is not an attack on African Americans. It's an attack on black and brown people, LGBTQ folk. These cuts to DEI are here to hurt black, brown, and LGBTQ folks. It's not an assault on white women. It's not. 833-212-1017. Winky Blue, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What's happening, Winky?
Good afternoon, man. Appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
What's happening here, Brother Kyle, and I don't, we kind of got a little age gap between us here, and you talk about the white Republicans, and they were, part of the system, and I can get with that, but the Democrats as well. And when you talk, what has happened, Kyle, is that we have attached the LGBTQ. That's a new movement, Kyle. That's not an old movement. Do you understand me?
So what is
it's not a old.
No, it's not. But Winky, so what about the black kids that are impacted? I can see the direction you're going in.
Well, what has happened?
What about the black kids that are now going to lose access to the offices and the spaces in the support that they had?
Because what they're doing is they're doing a purge. See, they're purging out that particular ideology that has went too far, actually, in our society, man. This LGBTQ, and what has happened is they've grabbed us, and they've sort of like hijacked us, and the younger ones have adopted that ideology, man, and it seems like they're attacking us. That's the only way we're gonna be able to purge these people out of what they've known. They are demanding, brother.
Well, wait a minute,
that we cooperate with them.
Well, Winky, this
I
is
know
my
you ain't
thing.
gonna like
No, Winky, but what about at the University of Missouri and other universities that they were telling them that the Black Student Union needed to change their name? What do you say about the fact that they're being forced to change their name or change the name of their welcome black barbecues at different places? What do you have to say when universities do that?
Right, that's smoke right there, brother. That's just smoke to distract you. See, little stuff like that's the small stuff. The real deal is we have allowed a cancer to grow into our society.
Hey, Winky,
and
I'm sorry, Winky. Winky, this comes off as homophobic, but I gotta ask you this.
It's not homophobic, brother, because you also said brown people.
So wait. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Sure. When's the last time you spent a good amount of time on a college campus and college university and been inside of their diversity offices or spaces that they have on campus? When's the last time that you?
The last time I was actually active and involved was probably like 2023. I was pretty much active. Yeah, I was pretty much active and working with a few people that were there, and I was always there.
What campus?
And I tell you something. Well, this was in Arkansas. This was down in Arkansas.
Okay.
So check this here out. I want you to understand something. You see what we're talking about, the equity and inclusion, and then we talk about how healthcare and all of that is going through. See, we've got a lot of people that have entered the country, man, that are now.
I don't know. I really don't. I appreciate you, Winky. Your call drop. Whoops. I don't. We can't stop. We got to stay on topic, right? We got to stay on topic. We can't sit here and defend things. This is the biggest issue I have, and both sides do it. But most people that call into my show do it as conservatives. You bring up something that's happening, and you ask why, and instead of addressing the why, you bring up, oh, well, there's a cancer coming from the LGBTQ community and the immigrants. And what the hell does immigrants have to do? If you are a black person and you were part of Black Student Union, if you were a black person and you went to the cultural office, or a Native American person that went to the Native American office, there shouldn't be an issue. We all know that these were safe spaces. And when I say safe spaces, is that it is nice to be able to go somewhere and see people that look like you because you can relate to you. Even as someone who grew up going to a suburban school, who I feel comfortable around most white people, it is always most comforting for me. The friends that I chose to align myself with, most of them look like me. Why? It's because that's who I could relate to. And when you go to a university like UW-Madison, where 4% of the population, the student population, is black, and it's a large campus, it is hard to find your group. We're homogeneous individuals, and I think it's a shame that UW-Madison is cutting opportunities for students of color and different identities to be able to have a safe space to go. 833-212-1017. We'll take your calls after this. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Keep it locked. I'm sure we got more things to talk about with the calls coming in on the other side. On the other side.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our third annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Truth Nation, you already know I got to put you on the latest hookup at Nick Avani's, and this one is big. All month long during July, Nick Avani's is running their buy one, get one for a penny sale. That's right. Grab one item and get another one for just 1 cent. We're talking top-tier fashion like suits, shirts, ties, shoes, and more that will have you stepping out looking sharp and turning heads. Some exclusions may apply, but the deal is real and only happening for the month of July. So don't wait and pull up to Nick Avani's on the second floor of Mayfair Mall and level up your wardrobe while this deal lasts. Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance, and you can weather any storm. You'll save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned as operating companies. American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Join Outreach on Thursday, July 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to learn how prenatal care, routine well child visits, and habits that empower parents for healthy pregnancy. Call 414-727-6320 to register today.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Ruger Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, make sure you join the Truth Walk Against Violence on Saturday. Visit Truth Walk Against Violence, truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up for the Truth Walk Against Violence this Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon. It is supported by 1MKE, so join us on Saturday for the Truth walk against violence. I was talking fast because I was going to get to the caller, but then I see that the caller dropped off the line. So with that being said, let me go ahead and just let y'all know. Make sure y'all join this walk against violence on Saturday. I'm excited. We want to get to 100 people that join us to, speak up against the senseless violence happening inside our community. And I do want to end the show with this. And I appreciate y'all, Truth Nation, as always, for tuning in and tapping in to what we have to say. And I'll just say this, is that we have to resist this urge to hate the LGBTQ community. I just want y'all to understand, gay people are human beings. They just choose to like the same sex. And some people may choose to end up living a lifestyle that you may not agree with, but y'all do stuff that people don't agree with. Some of y'all do drugs. Some of y'all have sex out of wedlock. Some of y'all assault people, fight people. Some of y'all drink excessively. Some of y'all take advantage of people. So we can't sit here and get mad about one community. Listen, y'all know I believe that we need to treat people as human beings, and it just annoys me the amount in our community that all of a sudden we don't like gay people, where there's a lot of gay people in our families. I just don't understand that. It makes no sense to me. But at the end of the day, we got to support one another, and at the end of the day, we got to speak out against these cutbacks to DEI, because at the end of the day, DEI on college campuses supports black and brown students, and guess what? Last time I checked, I'm black. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. Peace out, Truth Nation. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, my name is Cindy, and I'm a rising sophomore and a proud Tiger at Riverside University.